Okay, we're going to go over how to face a block in FeatureCam. Now you'll notice I'm starting at the very beginning of part setup. This is because when we face a block, we are going to set our UCS to the bottom of the block rather than the top of the block. The reason for this, it is a lot easier to set the tool to the bottom of the vise and get consistent thicknesses on various pieces that will be in the vise as opposed to setting our tool to the top of every part. Every part may not be the same thickness that we put in there. That means our tool lengths would change for every part that we put in. Gets tedious. That wastes a lot of time. So what we'll do is set our tool lengths on the face mill to the bottom of the vise, which is a consistent point of reference, and set our UCS to the bottom of the part so that way we can get consistent thicknesses as we face these blocks. So I'm going to create a new file, milling setup, inch, finish. I input my width, length, thickness here. I'm going to give this a little bit more thickness just so we can face it. Next, my stock material. If I'm doing any multi-axes, I'm not. Setup, leave that at default. Now, part program 0 or your UCS. Align to stock face. Now I haven't found an easy way to do this, but the way I tend to do this is using my top, like if we wanted to set it to the top of the part, at the upper left hand corner, we click this button right here. If you click pick location, you can come out and actually pick where your UCS should be. You can hit your isometric view and then drop your UCS to this bottom corner, right straight below where a UCS is typically set up. That is where you want your UCS located when you face your block. So let me show you that again. Align to stock face, pick location. It's going to refresh back to your top view. I'm going to click isometric up on my toolbar, and then I'm going to pick this bottom corner that is straight below where our normal UCS is typically located. Hit next. We can hit finish. Okay. So that's where we want our UCS located. That way we can give a Z offset in a positive integer what we want the thickness of our part to be. To create a face, to deface your part, there's no geometry necessary to face your part. You're removing essentially a layer of material on your part. FeatureCam is just going to use a stock size as its reference points. So I'm on my top view. I'm going to go to Features, choose Face, hit Next, Offset from Z location. This is the thickness that you want your part to be. We have a 4-inch piece of stock in our vise, and we want this to be 3 1/4. So I'm going to put 3.25 in as the offset from Z. Now remember, our Z0 is at the bottom of the vise or the bottom of the part, and we want to come up 3.25 inches to get our desired thickness. We can hit preview, do an isometric, and you can see this little pinwheel is the new face of the block. That's where the face mill is going to mill down and stop. That's 3.25 inches above the bottom of the part. Hit next, enter the dimensions of the face. This is the thickness that we want removed. FeatureCam did the calculation for us. We have a 4-inch block. We want to mill it down to 3.25. That means we're taking off 3/4 of an inch. Hit next, turn on rough pass, have finish pass on, next, and it chooses your tool for you. I have a face mill already set up in my tool crib, so it's going to pull that in. Hit next, you can see the face mill, double check the diameter, 3.5 looks good, number of inserts, 12 looks good. Hit next, there's my feeds and speeds, and I can hit finish. Now, it's going to come in, and I'll run my simulation, and it's just going to take layer after layer after layer off until it gets down to that desired thickness. Now, just like pockets and bosses and just about everything else that takes it down to depth, we have to set our Z-inks. Make sure you set Z-inks on all of your operations that take it down to a certain depth. So we'll double click on our rough pass. We'll highlight Z increment. Now for this face, we can take off an 1/8 inch pretty easily. So we'll type in 0.125. Set, apply, OK, run our simulation. And you can see it's going to take a lot more passes now to get through the material. That, again, relieves tool load, increases tool life, and typically gives you a better finish. And that's how you make a face. To walk through that again, your UCS has to be at the bottom of the part. If you've gotten to this point but your UCS is in the wrong spot, go back into your stock, find your part program 0, do an align to stock face, do a pick location, hit your isometric and pick that lower corner. Your X, Y, and Z have to be pointing in the same direction as they typically point in. The positive X is going to the right, the positive Y is going above the block, and Z positive is going straight up. I found that if you try to use the bottom upper left hand corner, it does not put it in the right spot. So this is why I'm saying that using this pick location is going to give you the best results. So use this pick location, isometric, bottom corner. Hit next, you can hit finish. Your UCS is in the right spot. Go into features, face, offset from Z. This is the thickness that you want the block to be when it's done. 2.75. We'll change it up. Hit next. This is how much is going to be removed. Again, if you have everything set up right, FeatureCam is going to fill that in for you. Just to verify, you can hit back. 2.75 plus 1.25 should be your stock thickness. If it's not, you have issues. Hit next. Turn on rough pass. Next, it pulls in your face mill. You can hit finish. You can run your simulation just to verify that it's going to do the job that you want. But before you run this part, you got to check your Z increments. So double click on your rough pass, Z increment. For this face mill, we can get away with 0.125. Set, apply, OK. Rerun your simulation to verify. It looks good. We can also go into our details tab to verify this. It's going to take 10 steps at a depth of 1.25. So that adds up. So we're looking good. So we're ready to run this part. Alright, that's a facing operation. Again, critical things here. UCS at the bottom of the part and making sure you set your Z increment.